to the development now. It builds it up to get you ready. See the changes? Everything's over. Disguises the melody somewhat now. You can hear the difference. You hear the difference. See how he has the strings, conversation. He's complete, turn everything completely around. Disguise it. That's the development section. Now here's the conversation. Flutes and woodwinds. See? Like a kid with a toy. Okay. Conversation, conversing. See? Mozart. The genius of Mozart. Love woodwinds, see? Flutes and he used woodwinds like no other composer when they came into play, see? Because woodwinds were new. You see? They were a new entity. Strings dominated for almost years. And so he got this new toy now. So he's making use of it, the woodwinds. You see? So you made him have conversations. Right? It goes back to now, that's the genius of Mozart. Now you see why the Sonata Allegro form had to be set up for this guy. Because nobody was doing anything like this. Every child that was born after Mozart in the music arena that showed any kind of musical aptitude, the parents thought it was going to be the next Mozart. That's what happened with Beethoven. Beethoven's father took him to see Mozart in Vienna when he was about 16. Beethoven was about 16. Mozart was much older, you know. Beethoven's father took him because Beethoven showed a little musical aptitude, so his dad had all these people to come in and tutor him, Beethoven. And Beethoven history books, the textbook don't allude to a lot of this stuff, but we won't give it to you. Beethoven's father, the alcoholic that he was, would have all these people to come in, tutor him on these different instruments because he showed music aptitude, and he was bright. Beethoven was one of our great composers. Yeah, history records that. Not taking anything away from that. But he wasn't Mozart. No. He would go out in the night and get enumerated, of course, come in for a day, and have him play for him. See? Beethoven was the perfect example of an abused child in that time period. In today's, his father would have been incarcerated for things he did to Beethoven as a child. Because we'd get him up out of the bed and have him to perform. When he made mistakes, whatever he got his hand on, he would hit him with on the knuckles. And as you know, Beethoven was deaf before he completed his Fifth Symphony, which is the major fate knocking at the door. He called it 4 tones. Dum, 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 bum. Boom, 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 boom. He called it fate knocking at the door. His Fifth Symphony, Beethoven did. And he was partially deaf by then. And history records that a lot of things that he did to keep himself awake so he could practice and play for his father, like put cold water. And the part of Germany was cold, and he would put cold water on his head at those cold hours of the night to keep him awake, things like that probably brought on that deafness. But see, I'm going to give you the whole spectrum, students, about these composers. See, a lot of people thought Beethoven was a very mean guy because he rarely smiled, showed not much emotions. His neighbors would come in the night and launder his clothing, things like that, you know. Beethoven. but he was a great musician. By the time he wrote his Ninth Symphony, he was totally deaf. He was reaching out to Christ. The Ode to Joy. You know it. Dee-da-da-dee, dee-da-da-da, dee-da-da-dee-dee-da-da. They say it was 20,000 people lined the streets of Berlin to get into him when he performed it for the last time before he died. In the sleep, stood in the sleep to get in. He was totally deaf when he performed it with that mass 100-piece choir. The Ode to Joy. Wow. Totally deaf. He had to turn him around to face the audience. You know, he was very emotional. His hand was over his face, and he had to turn around to see the audience, and he openly wept because he thought it wasn't going to be any good. And the people stood up and standing ovation. Beethoven. I get into a lot of this a little bit later when we get into the Romantic period, see. If you know these things, when I play these listening examples, see, then you know the composer. That's why I like to do this to my classes. So then you know the composers and what he had here. See, he gave to the listening audience what he had here through his music. Beethoven. But he continued the sonata allegro form. See, he carried on because he loved Mozart, Beethoven, and he was amazed at Mozart's piano abilities and how he wrote. So he continued the sonata allegro form through the Romantic period, Beethoven. And his Fifth Symphony is a very carbon copy of this, basically, even though he just used 4 tones, but he used the same sonata allegro format. I'll break that down once we get into that. I'll put a lot on your plate tonight, students, but see, I get loquacious when I get into music because see, I love music. I get involved. Boy. See, I don't have 16 weeks, so I have to squeeze everything in to 8.5 weeks about these people. I get excited. And I get loquacious. Because you have to know what I know in these composers to understand and listen to what they have to give you. Like Vivaldi, see, the picture painter, which I hope you take with you tonight. Any questions about anything? Remember the handouts, like I told you, remember those things and those other things I touch bases on. If you do that, you'll be in here about 40 minutes on the 14th and you'll be out of here. 40 minutes and you'll be out of here. We'll see you on Thursday. We'll continue it.